Well, it's wet, and I'm pleased it doesn't smell like the Hudson River. But what more could there possibly be to it, right? Could water ever have enough character, complexity, and backstory for you to swap it for your favorite Cabernet Sauvignon or Pinot Noir? It's hard to imagine, but today's guest has done just that. Once a wine connoisseur with 500 bottles of wine in his cellar, Michael Marsha is the last person you'd expect to trade wine for water.
I had a huge wine collection. I'm a food anthropologist by training, which means food and wine was always very important to me. Wine was really something to enjoy, to share, to discover. All these Epicurean things around the wine was what I was interested in. And now that was removed. And I looked at the other bottle I never looked at before, which was a water bottle on the table.
Michael joins us to share how he became a water sommelier, advising restaurants on fine waters as opposed to fine wine. He also reveals how not just his health, but his appreciation of food and quality time with family and friends have escalated through water. Welcome to Vital Signs, where we look at how to get healthier from all angles, from the biochemical and nutritional to the things we do that nourish our minds and our souls. I'm Brendan Fallon. Michael Marsha is the author of Fine Waters, described as an encyclopedia of water by the London Times. His PhD from the University of Vienna is in anthropology and communication science. Michael, welcome to Vital Signs.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to have you on because this is a subject that I think we're both passionate about. I really have a deep appreciation for water. And I actually brought a sample from New Jersey I've got here today just to get your visual impression of that. I tampered with that a little bit, admittedly. But it's probably not too far from the fact of it. I see some very colorful, very attractive bottles of water behind you. What kind of water is that?
Thanks for your interest and thanks for having me on your show and showing interest for water. The waters you see behind me are waters from a natural source. Those waters have terroir. They come from a particular special place. Those waters, hold experiences, and those waters can give wellness. And unfortunately, many consumers are confused. They just look at the bottle and don't realize they're actually two very different products sold in a bottle. One is a natural waters, the waters you see behind me, and the other one is processed water that comes from a factory. So two different products that we call bottled water. You have me here today to talk about the waters that come from a natural source.
Are there any particular waters that you have there that you'd recommend sitting there behind you?
I recommend every one of them. It's just a problem that you will not find it because they come sometimes from very remote places and they're not globally distributed. But many wines and other things are sometimes very local, unfortunately. But you have to keep in mind, we think water always comes from a spring, but there are so many more sources than springs. Water can come from an artesian source, which is a source that's under pressure and the water emerges by its own pressure. Some of the waters come from icebergs, from glacier. Some waters come from rain. So many different sources that create different experiences with water.
And that sounds a lot more exotic and a lot more interesting and probably a lot more healthy than what's on offer in many of the places that we go to in the cities that we live in, to restaurants, to diners, even in the schools that our children are attending. There just isn't really water on offer, or the water that is on offer is tap water. In my experience, that isn't always the best tasting or the healthiest. I want to get into that later, I want to find out what the alternative option is for that. But first off, you were a wine connoisseur, and somehow you've swapped in water for wine. And can you just give a snapshot of how that's come about?
Well, I didn't do it. I was just like the catalyst. So I had a huge wine collection. I'm a food anthropologist by training, which means food and wine was always very important to me. And about a little bit more than 20 years ago, I had to stop drinking wine. This was kind of really a cataclysmic event because the wine was not there for getting drunk. If you really wanted to have that, there's always a bottle of vodka in the freezer and that gets you quickly there without the calories. But wine was really something to enjoy, to share, to discover. All these Epicurean things around the wine was what I was interested in. And now that was removed. And I looked at the other bottle I never looked at before, which was a water bottle on the table. And I thought maybe I can apply all my interest in the Epicurean wine world onto water. And this was 20 years ago. And for the next 10, 12 years, no journalist wanted to talk to me because it sounded like a crazy idea. But we have changed the world and the perception of water a lot. And right now, you're talking to me, many things around the world point towards the direction that water is no longer water and is accepted on the table at the same level as wine.
To see that full interview and others on how to optimize health, go to ept.ms/vital signs. Vital Signs offers general health information not intended as medical diagnosis or advice. Please consult your doctor before undertaking a new health regimen.